I'm here to tell you about Oulu, Finland, a very interesting place that I had the pleasure of visiting at the end of March. It's about 200 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle, but yes, they do have summer, and when I was there was snow on the ground, but a lot of sun in the sky. After visiting it, I wrote a blog in which I said, "The cluster is dead, long live the cluster." And for those of you who are not up in your English history, those are the traditional words spoken when the King of England dies and his son succeeds him. And this was even before Norm Jackness told us that the cluster is dead, so I must have been ahead of my time. What I saw there was an evolution of this idea of the cluster, which was formulated by Michael Porter back in the 1990s, far beyond his wildest dreams. In Oulu, they're still quite proud of their technopolis, which is a classic business park kind of thing. It's been quite successful. But they've gone beyond that model. The University of Oulu now runs no less than 4 of what they call centers of excellence, which get half of their funding from the university and half from projects, which keeps them nice and lean and hungry. And that's a response to what they consider to be the Nokia risk. That is, that we have one big dominant company and our fortunes are, when times are good for them, times are good for us, and when times are not good for them, times are not good for us. So they have a Center for Wireless Communications, which is built around that Nokia R&D facility. Very important. It's the oldest storied history of firsts in mobile technology. But they also now have the Intelligent Systems Group, which has generated 7 spin-offs in software security. They have the Center for Internet Excellence, which is doing some amazing work that 2 or 3 years from now we're all going to be hearing about, something called 3D Internet. Which is all about basically using the vocabulary of gaming to help us use the internet more effectively. The latest one is a new Center for Health and Technology, which aims to generate a whole stream of commercial innovations in this area that we know is going to be quite vast for all of us. Now, I said go beyond, and what I meant by that was what I saw there was innovation happening far beyond the incubators, far beyond the 4 walls of any facility. I saw it happening in a revolutionary school where technology and common sense are being applied to completely change how we educate young people. I saw it in a project called Oulu, which is a ubiquitous wireless network, the interesting part of which is it's stitched together from networks built by 17 different organizations, and they found a way to get them all to work together on a common standard in a common way. And so they could launch a citizen portal with a very generous offering of online services. And I saw it in something called Oulu Labs. Sorry, no, OLabs. I can't say it, OLabs. I'm sure if in Finnish it's easier to say. This is a living lab project in which they've recruited hundreds of citizens who are, of their own interest, engaged in helping to validate or not validate products and services being introduced by companies. A software company recently engaged them to test what they thought was a market-ready online product. And the testing revealed so many failures that the company decided, whoops, I think we better not have the disastrous launch of this product. I think we better go back and fix it and then come back, saving themselves millions of dollars, I would suspect. So living lab is a term you hear a lot in Oulu. This is a city that's striving to make the entire community a place where international companies come to test the latest technologies in their target industries of communications, security, education, and healthcare. But let's stop hearing from me and hear from the people themselves. Would you please give us the video? Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for sharing a bit of Oulu with us in visuals, including your daughter.
Yes, it was great. Yes. We have a lot of young people.
You certainly do. Well, every intelligent community story we find is a story of renewal. So I'd be interested if you'd talk a bit about what and when your own crisis was and how you think, or is, and how you see your community responding to it.
This is a very accurate question, I think, today in the world. But first I want to thank you for the opportunity that I can be here. Thank you for this, that we are with you and our colleagues in the other cities. This is a great opportunity us to tell also that where we come from, and life is also in the northern Arctic areas. But this question really, it's very accurate. But if you look at our location in the map, you see that there is 2.5 hours drive to Arctic Circle. The circumstances are always quite hard. And our businesses all over the years, our city is 407 years old. So we have been all the time doing business abroad. We have faced many some challenges and big changes what happen in the world, because our business is connected in the international trade. It has been earlier tar, fish, wood, everything, and we are in the same position once again. We had to find the clients in the world, and now if you look to the near future, in the beginning of 1990s, Finland has a huge financial crisis. Okay, and everything had to reorganize, and then businesses had to find solutions, and then came the wireless business, which started to grow to Finland further over these difficult years. And our city was one of the players who were growing very fast and getting on, and then came this Nokia phenomenon and all this kind of things. Okay, then we realized in the 2000 that in the beginning in 2005-06 that this cannot continue like that. And this something must be done, and then we find the solution so that, because we have always used to do cooperation with university, which we have the Finland's second biggest university, multidisciplinary university, and business companies and city, we sit in the same tables always, and what we must do. And we started to think already that something we must do. Okay, the crisis came 2007, we all know, here and everywhere in the world. It has been very, very hard, but we have somehow mentally, and we had prepared on that, and we started to do the work more strongly together. And we've targeted what are the next focuses, what we are doing, and that's we started to do. And one reason why we do so is also that, as we didn't see that our average age in the city is 34.5 years. In Europe and Finland, if you look at the average geography of the elderly people, it's very high. And they have the challenges that they are retiring. But in our city, we have a lot of young people. We have to do work for the future. And this is how we are tackling this, doing more cooperation also and networking better in the world also.
I remember when I was there and we were having lunch together, you talked about that fact that you have a small population in Finland, so Finland's culture has always looked outward. And I think that's a great actual competitive advantage today. One of the things I enjoyed doing was walking the streets and seeing your internet kiosks and hearing about the network that was put together, which I think is, again, a remarkable story. It's hard enough to build one network. Imagine trying to make 17 into one. So what has been done to ensure that the citizens, the businesses, the government all have all the access to broadband infrastructure that they need?
No, we can say that Finland generally, the broadband is every man's right, civil right. This is the attitude and what has been, and it has been creating during the last 20 years. So we have done it so that it's open business, and the state also, the regulations are very favorable also to enterprises, and teleoperators, they can very freely develop their systems. And of course our city, when we are being very active also because of this Nokia and all other international companies, we have built a network, and we are open to business, our city. And this is one big issue. And then we have 3G network everywhere. And this is what we can use it, and also Wi-Fi access to Portal to citizens. Mm-hmm. They are free, they can use it, everybody of that, and this is very important. And in these Wi-Fi connections, we have more than 2,000 points where we can coordinate when you go to airport, to arrive to Oulu airport or university library in the center. You open your computer, you can manage. And this is for everybody in use when they are doing that. And this is very important to understand. So we are like a living lab in this our region. And if we think of the 3G coverage, it's very important also on security purposes, because we have long distances. As I said, we have our city's land area is 300,000, but the wild desert is quite near where we can go very quickly and relax there. But when we have this 3G connection, this is security issue. We can know, and it's also, and as a small point of view, if you're a hunter, I don't know if hunter, everybody don't like it, but hunters, they have dogs.
Everybody hunts. Everybody hunts in Oulu. Everybody.
Yeah. But then it's very difficult sometimes to get the dog away in the evening from the forest. But when the dog has this network,
that's they put a network collar on the dogs.
All the time you can see in the net where the dog is going.
I remember when I was there, I became so used to the fact that there's always a connection everywhere in Oulu that we're going around doing things. I'm using my tablet, and then we had to make a trip outside of the city, and I'm working away, and all of a sudden it's like, what happened to the network? Oh yeah, right. We're back in the real world. You've mentioned already the University of Oulu and the cooperation. Could you talk a bit more about that, the role of your administration and governments before you in connecting that university to commercial opportunities, to public service within the community?
Yes, as I said, we have the long tradition because we are a small society and we have limited resources. So we have always been very close cooperation. But we have such an innovation alliance cooperation, which is the real organization where all we sit regularly so that management, mayor is there leading, there is president of university, there is Chamber of Commerce, chief of Chamber of Commerce, and all companies represented in this our we can say alliance cooperation. And we are targeting, focusing, what are the subjects which we are going to do in the coming years. And now when the crisis came, for instance, we were sitting already 2007, before this crisis hit us, that what we saw. And then what happened when the came, we really get results. Right. Before that, when money comes in, nobody does nothing. And that's what happened. So and it's also, I think, helped also this, so that I have to say the municipality side also that this our politicians are very aware of that, because what happened now, we are discussing cooperation. Municipalities, we have 10 municipalities together in the Oulu region. And now, during this period, 5 of them decided to merge in one new Oulu. And in the beginning of next year, we have Oulu where is more than almost 200,000 inhabitants. And one reason is the business focus, because our resources have to be in the municipalities combined, that we don't fight each other. And then the university has, that's why a big important role that they collect us together. And we have also here with me in this team, Merja Tervo, who is the vice chairman of our city board. He's taking photos here, and we have Kyösti Oikarinen, who is also from university. He's chairman of New Oulu board. So I mean that we are closely doing cooperation all the time.
One of the things that interested me when I was there was the north is becoming a topic in Oulu, and Oulu is very strategically located at the very tip of the northern tip of the Baltic Sea, and as climate change becomes a reality in all of our lives, of course there will be winners and losers. Could you talk briefly about how you expect Oulu to be a winner as we see our climate change?
This is
Aside from the way by better summers, but
yeah, okay. It's you know it's very cold there and terrible conditions sometimes in winter time. Okay, but anyhow, this is an opportunity to. That's why if you look the map, there is not so many people in this Scandinavian area, in Norway, Sweden, and also in Russian side. And that's why there is huge investments coming. 250 milliards investments in coming 10-15 years. There's oil, gas, and then mining industry. And it's new technology is needed to do that work. And all the security issues which are needed also for these new shipping routes which are going to North Pole, new passage route, they are doing. That's why I came yesterday evening, because in Oulu we had a meeting with Finnish foreign minister was there and Russian representatives, and we were discussing this passage route. And technology, what must be, there was Russian and Finnish companies, we are thinking how we must develop this in future, using the latest technology.
And
we are very eager on that.
I learned about this while visiting the university, and what interested me was the university told me that one of the things that they always taught was mining engineering, and gradually that had declined, and then to the point where they almost didn't have the expertise anymore, and then suddenly there's a call. Now, because mining is opening up to the north of you. It's very, very intriguing.
Yes, this is what happened, because now in the last 5 years has happened because mining industry, because of China phenomenon, totally starting to increase in Sweden and Finland. And it was driving down about 15 years ago, so there was not any there was mining. We took together with Luleå University, Sweden, and Oulu University, they collected, we can say, knowledge and money together, and they started to educate new mining engineers. And now the first ones are coming out. There is about 5 then this year. And they have worked so much they want to do.
Sure. Okay, so that's one area of innovation. Could you perhaps share some other examples of innovation in your community, that whether they are businesses, whether they are public sector entities or public-private cooperations, and how do you see that contributing to the quality of life?
Well, there is a lot of, I have to say, there is also many international companies who are landed in the city. There is also US companies, we can say Texas Instruments, Google, Ericsson, Nokia, Intel, and Rick Barrett, for instance, he was there a couple of years, he was cycling almost 1 week there, because we have excellent bicycle routes in summer. And so we had this cooperation, and it is like a testing laboratory to different kind of things. And we have our own network services for citizens, if we think the citizens, so that we can have our own Wi-Fi, as I said, it's free open. Then we have, if we look this Oma Oulu Citizen Portal, which is new Oulu Oma, new Oven Oulu, I don't know how you translate, which is e-service portal, which you can use very, very freely. And this is where we have all the services we put in the net, and you can use it. Then young people have their own portal, where they can do their discussions together. Then they can discuss there through our young workers who are doing work with them, and then they have opportunity to discuss with police, also anonymously if they want. So these are very, very, very interesting things, and also this now where energy is very important. We know that we have substation industry very strong also in our area. Nokia and Ericsson are doing research work, especially Nokia Siemens network, which is very strong in now. Every 90 seconds is coming a platform station. But they are now trying to find a way how to reduce the energy, green hugely, and the calculations has been, and they are proceeding with great steps on that. And then if we can, how the citizens really, we try to put everything to net, but then we must have also other life, not only this technique and technology. We need culture, we need even if we are cold there, we need same music, we have rock music young people need, they need different kind of, we have our symphony orchestra even, in the Nordic Symphony Orchestra, I think in the world, I don't remember sure, but I think that it might be. And then we have wild forest quite near. We go to forest, Finns are great to go to forest, big berries and so on. So we have the atmosphere so that we can enjoy and innovations creates in the forest. But then we have also one special thing which I would like to tell you, and you can take part in it. We have every year air guitar world championships competition, and it's very easy. You can use it. We are trying to promote world peace of that and save energy, and it's easy, but it's very widely and popular. All over the world they are organizing competitions, and the finals are every August in Helsinki and Oulu. And you can do that, and you can use it also training. You can combine it in different things.
I've always wondered what the criteria are. You know, it's like, okay, so I'm a winner, right?
You very good start.
Very good start. I guess I have some training to do. I guess what I'd say in sort of trying to wrap this, trying to shape this into a final picture for you, is the thing that I found most impressive about Oulu is the way in which the innovation you do, which is in the business area, it is in government services, it's in recreation. You really seek, it seems to me, to address the whole person. So if it's a technology innovation, I visited a company that invented the watch that takes your pulse and the watch that measures your blood pressure. That's a very classic kind of Oulu thing, and it's sold all over Europe. Polar is the name of the company, and increasingly in the United States. And everything I looked at, people seem to take technology innovation, lifestyle innovation as part of their lives and taking it forward that way.
No, I think that in all over the world today, the healthcare and how we are keeping us in condition is more accurate, because money is going and expenses are going so also in cities. Everybody mayors challenges. So we have to try to find ways how do we promote that we are doing beforehand, before we are not only taking care of the illnesses. We must try to get it so that we take ourselves better earlier. And this, for instance, Polar Electro has this first of the world's heart rate monitor, as you mentioned. And this is a very good example of how it promotes, and now you can coordinate where you're going, how quickly you are going, and so on. This is very important, but the big issue is also that how we organize and use this technology in the health services in large scale, because the expenses are growing all the time. And this is our next target, where we are doing together with the companies. And we are focusing, Juha Alamursula yesterday, I don't know if he mentioned, but we are planning, we have a next program to do the best platform for testing of the coming healthcare services in our hospital area. And this is one issue that we take care of the people, but we should get it before they are in the hospital, so that we try to promote this attitude.
Similarly, I was privileged to visit, you have a Microsoft School of the Future there, and again, this was something that I think was characteristic of Oulu, that normally you'd go to a School of the Future and you'd see a lot of technology, and I saw some technology, but your educators were taking that technology and turning it into, deciding to use it as the wedge, if you will, to open up a review of the entire idea of education. So one of the simple ideas that never would have occurred to me is they're designing the classrooms so they have little areas that look like the living room in your home, because they find if they put students into that environment, they get a completely different mental and emotional aura around that actually enhances learning. All of a sudden, it's not so hard to get students to form collaborative groups because they're in an environment that makes them comfortable. Such a small example of combining that with technology.
Yes, actually this is also very important, as I said, and we saw in other presentations, it was excellent presentation that we saw, the future school. Now about 30% of our schools are not the old-fashioned classrooms. They are modern, clever walls, clever things what are doing.
Like the walls can move.
It's room, and the teaching methods are changing now. And we have to try to find new teaching methods, how we do it, and this is big challenge. And now, as I said, 30% of our schools, we have step by step we are changing then and taking new methods, and it of course it's challenge also for teachers and university how to teach the old system. It doesn't cover it. Young people not anymore are motivated to learn on that system, and now the knowledge is in internet, and so we are in the new steps which we are trying to take, and I'm sure that we have to be in the best in the world in certain areas to manage in these areas, cold areas.
Yeah, absolutely. That unfortunately has to bring us to the close. I could spend quite a bit of time up here, but we must be fair to the next community. So I hope you will join me in thanking Mayor Matti Pennanen and wishing us well for the contest.
Thank you.